Hello and welcome everyone, I am Ducky Obrien, and today I'll be going over a game called Ampersat. Ampersat was developed by Gaterooze Inc. It was published by Gaterooze Inc. and GrabTheGames, and it was released onto the Xbox One, PlayStation 4, 5, the Switch, and the PC on May 6, 2022 with the MSRP of $9.99. As always, the exact release date, pricing, and platforms may vary from region to region and platform to platform. Alright, why don't we get into it? This is a pretty neat... I don't know what you would call it. It reminds me of Gauntlet, Gauntlet Legends. I played it on the N64. I know it's an old arcade game. Basically, you're going through dungeons and there are like buildings that spawn enemies, and you gotta defeat the enemies, and they'll keep spawning until you get to the building generating the monsters. We can go from level 1, and I'll show you guys what's going on. There is a general story. Basically, something happened and letters are missing. And, you know, if you look in the village, I'll show you later, you'll see that it's based on words. Press tab to look at the map, very handy. If you look here, as you defeat enemies, they will drop items, and each item has different stats. So you can kind of look here, and elemental damage, critical, etc. You have one melee attack, you got range items, and you have spells. And then you have also gear to equip on your character. Again, each with different stats. You have gems too, which you can equip onto items to modify their behavior. And you have a skill tree. So those things are like the things that generate the enemies. They do seem to take damage, or I don't know what you would call it, but basically when they spawn enemies, they do kind of take damage to that meter and eventually despawn. So you earn money and XP, and every time you die, you lose your money and XP. I am not starting from the beginning. I have some different spells and equipment which make the game a little bit easier. It is a little bit more difficult in the very beginning. Forgot how I got through here. Oh, there we go. Alright. So as you can see, the basic letters just move around, and then the more advanced ones will shoot at you. There are other ones with different attack patterns. It does get more difficult. I died a lot of times in this game, but once I unlocked the new items, it actually became more fun. Actually, there's also another part I want to show you guys where I couldn't figure it out. So there are some light puzzling to do in this game, and sometimes it can be like this one. So you gotta shoot the... Ooh, yeah, made it first try. It took me a while to understand that you're supposed to shoot the targets, even though it's pretty evident that you're supposed to do that. Took me a while. I am slow sometimes. So there are like secrets too, hidden treasure chests, and if if you think this looks slow, it does get a lot faster later on, to the point where it's like almost unmanageable and you have to like kite enemies over so you can kill them one by one, or as few as you can manage at a time. Very funny. So I'm looking for jobs right now. I'm currently studying to get a coding job. If you want to get a coding job, it's not just about going to college and getting a degree. For many companies, there's a technical phase of the interview, and then you know, there's like a personality, etc. There's multiple stages, but basically the technical part is the most difficult, and they will quiz you on a lot of things. And most modern companies nowadays, big or small, do the same thing where they rely on a certain subset of questions, and those questions are available on a site called LeetCode. LeetCode is pretty big. And so there's another book too, cracking the code interview. Cracking the interview, code questions. I forgot what the exact title was, but y'all know, if you're a coder or you've been looking for a job, you already know which book I'm talking about. But yeah, so you study for that technical interview, and then you know, you can pass it and get your foot in the door. It's not about how good you are at programming, because you can memorize the answers to the questions, and if you have a fairly good memory or you study pretty hard, you can do well on a technical part. So in the meantime though, I still need to make money, right? So I've been applying for jobs at whatever I can find, and there was one where it was like $70,000 a year for basically logistics, and I was like, yeah, that sounds too good to be true, but I'll just try anyways. And so I applied, and they have like a very basic interview where it's like, are you a human being with a working brain? So it asks you like basic math questions, like, oh, what's 82 minus 53? I'm like, man, it can't be this easy, right? Some basic English questions like, which word is misspelled in this sentence? And so I passed it, and then there was a question or a subset of questions for Excel, and I was like, oh man. I don't remember anything about using Excel, and the quiz did say not to use any outside resources during the test, so I didn't look up stuff on Google, even though I totally could have. And yeah, I think I failed that, but it's okay. And then there was like a set of interview questions, very basic ones, and they give you 3 minutes to record an answer, and then they'll review it. So there's not even like a live interviewer, and this is just a screening process to make sure, you know, they would want to interview you, and then go from there. But we'll see what happens. So if that doesn't work out, I'm not worried, because, you know, Amazon will hire anybody. I'm talking about like Amazon warehousing, or, you know, for Amazon Fresh, Whole Foods, whatever. I will work a manual labor job if I have to make money. That's fine. And in the meantime, I'll study for the coding technical interviews, so I can get a remote job. That said, so you know that I don't really stress out a lot. At the same time, I do stress out a lot. If that makes sense. Actually, I don't know. I don't know what's going on anymore, but it's always been a worry, you know, because I've been doing a lot of things. I have a lot of experience in many different fields and jobs. But the most time I spent was on volunteering stuff, so that kind of, it doesn't really translate into any industry very well. So, or grinding for making content. Now that's applicable in some jobs, but you know, not really. But I did hear recently, a friend of mine told me that they got a pretty awesome job. it pays well. They're designing products, which is what they wanted to do, and I was like, yo, I am so very happy for you. And I was thinking, man, maybe one day I can have a job that I want to, you know. Wonder if where is the secret in this level? I am not sure. Okay. Is there a secret in this level? I don't even know. But you can see that some letters are more vulnerable to other types, so this is a poison spell that I've been using, and it works fairly well, which is why it made the game a lot easier. Ooh, we got some new gear. Why don't we check it out? Resist to ice damage and slow. Problem is, like, okay, we can just equip this because we have nothing else. I don't know what does what damage, but it does kind of matter. It makes the game a lot easier. See, that's my melee attack. I don't know if you can see it. You know what I noticed? I think one mistake I made in life is I needed to be more positive towards the people around me, especially those that looked up to me. Because, you know, I've been in an environment where people are just absolutely just massive douchebags. I don't know how else to put it. So incredibly toxic and negative, and it does affect your sense of self-esteem and self-worth. It's pretty difficult when people are bagging on you all the time and looking down on you. It's hard to think that you as a person has any worth or value, and it's just like, oh, it's a crappy feeling. It kind of becomes ingrained in you almost. Those are new spells. I don't know. There are like some temporary upgrades too. Uh-oh, I am silenced. There you go. So, I'm gonna show you a little bit of this, and then we're gonna go back to the village. We're gonna look at the shops and upgrades, and then we are gonna call it quits there. Because it should be enough to show you guys what the game is like. So you can see here, there's a secret passageway or block. No, leave me alone. No. It's a bonus word too. Not quite sure how to get those. I don't know if you have to destroy enough letters. Oh, where did these guys come from? What the heck? With dash move too, it's pretty handy. Okay, we're gonna leave. So then you go through the floors, and as you can see, these are the villagers, and they're missing letters. So when you go rescue the letters, it slowly fills in the villager themselves, the representation of the villager, plus what they're saying. And so you can see that It's just a play on missing words. So here we have the inn where you can level up your skill points. I'm kind of going towards... Like, I don't know what's good yet, you know? Like, I don't know what my playstyle is. I don't know what's more efficient. But I've been slowly just working towards my way of increasing my dash. Cooldown, like that would be very handy. So this is the skill tree. Okay. Increase move speed. Okay. So here's the gimmick too. Basically, you can see the armor, but you don't know what it does unless you fill in enough letters. So you can risk it and just buy it and then find out later what it does. Or you can wait until later to fill enough letters to figure out what it's saying and then see if it's gonna be good or bad and then buy it. So it's kind of like, are you willing to play the game without gear to make it a little bit harder and then wait until you know what you can buy, or are you gonna risk it? So I thought that was a pretty neat mechanic. You can also upgrade the shops for better gear, and I can unlock more skill points and stuff. Same with the weapon shop. So again, when you die you lose XP and gold, but you can deposit your gold in the stash. And you can retrieve it later. And then there are different biomes and dungeons and so forth. So yeah, it's a pretty... Once you play it, it does feel like a slower paced Gauntlet. That's what it brought to mind. And I was like, am I the only one? So what I do is I look at the reviews after I play the game. And they use... The developers themselves describe the game as kind of like it's being inspired by Gauntlet. And I was like, I felt it. Man, I want to go back and play Gauntlet Legends now. I think it was called Gauntlet Legends for the N64. I enjoy that game quite a bit. I rented it from, I think, Blockbuster. I don't remember. I rented it multiple times because, you know, I didn't play a lot of games back then, and that game took forever. Anyways, we're gonna call it there. Thank you so much for dropping by and watching. I really do appreciate it. As you know, as always, I know that this isn't the type of content that most people want to watch, but it's the content that I want to make, and I believe is necessary to show what the game is like. But I am thinking about like how to reformat my content. I'm still gonna make coverage. I'm gonna slow down on it a lot though, because I have to focus on getting a job. I'm still in the process of moving. You know, I got my mom to take care of and everything, so we'll see what happens. But alongside of this type of content, I want to release a more highly produced, more effective way of showing the game that people would want. So that'll be both, because I strongly believe in this kind of method. Anyways, I know it's not what people want, but we'll call it there. Yeah, thank you so much for dropping by and watching. I genuinely do appreciate it. I know I don't deserve it. Anyways, hopefully this gave you guys an idea what the game is like, and hopefully you enjoyed what you saw. If you have any questions, comments, things you'd like to see or for me to cover, please feel free to leave a comment down below. And as always, hope you guys are staying safe and sane out there, and I'll catch you guys next time.